Here's a reframe in this episode that changes everything. Many spirit babies arriving now are advanced, mission-focused souls. They're not late, they're precise. What looks like infertility can be a sacred pause while your body, lineage, and home learn to hold their light. Do you feel like there is way more to your success than the tired, worn-out idea that your fertility is only about your physical body? Well, beautiful mama, you're in the right place. Welcome to Fertile Frequencies Radio, the radio show created for you to empower you on your fertility journey and finally give you a baby. Join me, Lindsay Goodwin, natural reproductive medicine and energetic spiritual fertility expert, as we clear away the doubts, reframe the struggles into fertile wins, and turn the what-ifs into big celebrations. Together, we'll unlock the tools to manifest your healthy pregnancy and baby. Fertile Frequencies Radio, your infinite fertile possibilities, begins now. Welcome back to Fertile Frequencies Radio. I am so excited that you joined me for yet another episode. And today, we are going to be talking about spirit babies and the awakened consciousness and how that relates to fertility and these beautiful souls coming into the human experience, and about the human evolution and how that is really relating to the right timing of when these souls are coming into your life, coming in to be your children earthside. Most people are actually not infertile. It's just the right pieces haven't quite been put together yet. And there really can be this sacred pause. And with the spirit babies can actually be pausing their arrival because it's about a healing journey for you. The souls coming in now are very advanced in consciousness. They really understand a lot more than the generations that are here now. I must say, though, that some of these new earth kids, that's what I call them, actually have been coming into this experience for a while now. I am actually one, and I was born in 1979. So they've been coming in for a long time, but the rate that they're coming in now, with the children that are coming in now, is so fast. It's like almost every single one of them, if not all of them coming in now, have this very advanced level of consciousness. So it would be consciousness and that the way that their mission in life, really what they're here for. And how does this relate to you? Well, you as their parent have to be in a place in your own evolution and consciousness to be able to understand the level of genius and mission that these souls are on, and being able to take the human collective or consciousness to a higher level of awakening, okay? And so they're not going to come in until their parents have done the lower chakra work. And if you know about chakras we've got 7 main ones, and the lower chakras are more in relation to ancestral trauma from this lifetime, other lifetimes. Ancestral trauma in that your ancestors may have not worked out certain things that now you have to work out in your family line. And these souls are not going to come in until they actually know that that work has been done. I'm not saying by any means that you are expected to be perfect or pointing the finger at anyone, but it's realizing that we all have different purposes. And for some of us, we are here clearing ancestral trauma. In fact, many of us. And so those lower chakras is really where the fertility is, because you've got the root chakra, absolutely connected to fertility. You have the sacral chakra, absolutely connected to fertility. That is where the womb space is. And then we also have the solar plexus, and that is where the digestion is. I call that the earth center, because that really is where all of your nutrients are absorbed, as well as your earthly intuition. And it's the aspect of fertility. It's the connection to fertility, because without proper nutrient absorption, they're really that earth energy of the human, you're going to have a really hard time having great blood quality, which is going to have an effect on your hormonal balance. It's all connected to digestion. And science has even said this now that many women, for example, will actually have infertility when their gut microbiome is off. Okay. And so the solar plexus is a very important place, as well as the sacral and the root, because all of that can relate to the digestion, depending on where you are looking. And I could go further into the upper chakras with the digestion and how that relates to science as well and digestion, but we'll stick with the lower ones today. So, and then I guess I will talk about the heart. So, the heart is going to be the epicenter of where the human and the soul self meet. And then you have the upper chakras, which is going to be the throat, the third eye, and the crown chakra. Now, these children that are coming in now, these new earth kids, are actually very advanced in connection to the upper chakras. So the throat, the third eye, and the crown chakra. Now, what does this mean? This means that they are very awake. They're okay with their authenticity, throat chakra. They are okay with speaking their truth, throat chakra. They are very intuitive and can connect with spirit very easily, third eye. As well as the crown chakra also connects to the universal grid. So these kids coming in now are so advanced and that they don't have that lower karmic work to work on to get to these higher level chakras. That's what starts to happen when you become awake is you're living more in the higher advanced human version of you and soul version of you and less in the lower chakras of the trauma. Now we don't want to turn the lower chakras off because those play a very important role and we're always creating, and the sacral chakra is all about creation. The root chakra is all about safety. The solar plexus, again, I talked about that. That's all about your confidence, your earthly intuition, as well as your digestion. So they're very important, and it's very important to remember that you have to be comfortable in your body. So those chakras, the lower chakras, have to be healed to be fully awake because your body is also part of this. It's not just bypassing the body part of you and just getting up into these higher chakras. They all have to be balanced. So you as their parents, you have to be comfortable in your body to be able to be with them in these higher chakras because they're going to come in and these kids are absolute geniuses. You're a genius too, but just in a different way. They're geniuses in that they understand stuff about the universe and how things tick and roll in the universe that other generations may not fully understand. So to be their parent, you have to understand on some level of what's going on with them. So science is missing this because science wants proof of everything. And I'm a firm believer that we cannot have proof of everything. If we were meant to have proof of everything, why is there so much unexplained infertility? Why are so many people struggling with things that Western medicine, science can't put their finger on? Because you can't prove everything. Not everything is meant to be proven. It's about your discernment. It's about listening to yourself, about what your needs are versus listening to something outside of you. Am I a huge proponent of science? Absolutely. I'm a licensed health provider. I've been using science for many, many years. I work in holistic medicine, but also have worked in IVF and fertility treatments for many years and integrating holistic medicine. I believe in science, but I also believe in the unseen energies and that we use science as a tool, but it's not always the answer to everything. And so we can't prove this what I'm talking about. In fact, most of what I'm talking about on this podcast, we can't prove, but I try to make it so that we can integrate what we can prove of science into the unseen so that it feels like there's some sort of anchor, that it does make at some degree sense of what I'm saying. But I'm not going to be able to make sense of everything because that's just not how the universe works. I guess I should say less than 1% of what really is going on, because everything boils down to energy. Every cell in your body is energy. Everything in this entire experience that you see in front of you is energy, and it's all consciousness, including your spirit baby, which is not outside of you, is always within you. The kingdom of heaven is within you because heaven is a state of mind. Hell is a state of mind. These are not places that you go. These are actually something that is already within you that you can choose to vibrate with. It's a frequency. Also, communicating with your spirit baby is a frequency. Okay, so I want to think about for a second that these advanced souls that are coming in, they are mission carriers for this collective evolution. And they're selecting their parents based on timing, on the coherence, the safety, the truth, and the devotion. Remember what I was saying about those lower chakras? They really are choosing their parents based on the evolution of where their parents are in their journey. Okay. So, infertility is really the preparation and attunement of the season. It's not a verdict. Infertility is not a verdict. That's why I don't prefer the word, because there are answers to this. It's just being curious and open and receptive to continuing to flow and ask the universe for more. I don't understand that. Why is my progesterone low? I don't understand why my FSH is high. I don't understand why my AMH is low. Well, a lot of that has to do with stress. So, what can I actually do to give myself more space? What can I do to actually focus more on myself versus when exactly, how, and when this is going to happen, and moving into the frequency within myself of knowing that I'm an infinite creator, fertile, that it's already meant for me, because if it wasn't, I wouldn't desire it. Okay? So it's not about saying you need to be less stressed out. Don't tell me to stress out. I know that's not something that is good to hear when you're struggling with fertility obstacles. What I am saying is stress does affect your hormones. So maybe there is something that the universe is trying to show you through that low progesterone or high FSH, that there's something that could be done to help you. Maybe just doing IVF isn't the only thing for you. Maybe, if you are someone going through IVF, maybe it's about doing IVF, but also incorporating mind-body therapies. Maybe you're doing everything right on paper if you're going through natural conception. You're eating the right diet, you're cycle tracking, you're doing all the right things, you're getting acupuncture. But maybe there's other things you're leaving out. Maybe on a subconscious level, you actually, because your subconscious mind is a filtering system, which is over 95% of where our thoughts are actually resonating from, is the subconscious mind. Maybe in the subconscious mind, you're actually, as crazy as this sounds, afraid to actually be pregnant. Maybe you're afraid to gain weight. Maybe you're afraid that you'll have similar traits as your mother. Maybe you're afraid that it will affect your relationship. There could be a number of things. Maybe your mother actually experienced several miscarriages leading up to you. So it was pre-birth or even preconception trauma, which I work on that with people through NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, of really going in hypnotherapy, really going into these states and figuring out when the trauma actually happened and clearing those patterns. So there could be a number of things going on here, and your spirit baby knows this. Your spirit baby knows that these patterns need to be cleared before they will actually come earthside, okay? It is not, again, it's not a blame game. It's not creating a guilt, shameful feeling. It's realizing and having the awareness that maybe something else needs to change. Maybe it's that I have been doing what I've been doing and it's not working. I need to try something else. So, nervous system safety is so incredibly important. And it's one message I get from spirit babies of why they're waiting. Okay. A regulated body is going to give the clear signal that you are ready for a baby. A dysregulated signal is going to create static. It's similar to trying to tune to a radio station. If you're in between, like you're in a remote area and there's not a lot of options for radio and you're trying to tune the radio, you're going to get a lot of static because you're too far away. So this would be an example of dysregulation of your nervous system. But once you get closer and you're closer on the path, you're getting more of a clear signal and that static goes away. So that's a regulated nervous system. And when our body feels safe, we naturally are going to be much more open and receptive to fertility. And remembering that fertility is not just about babies, it's manifestation, it's creation of business, it's creation of projects, it's creation of beautiful relationships, it's creation of a beautiful relationship with yourself. And so fertility is expansion of creation. Okay. And signs that you really have a regulated nervous system are better sleep, feeling more regulated in the morning when you get up, feeling those calm states, and absolutely boundaries is a big one. I think boundaries is a really big one that I see a lot with people that are struggling with fertility obstacles or infertility, because those boundaries, we start to get resentful. We want to have boundaries, but we really don't know how to tell people no. Very important stuff. And also the ancestral resolution. Okay. So that would be karma. Karma's not a bad thing. Karma is giving you the opportunity to work out something that you chose on your soul journey to bring in to be able to close these loops, these karmic loops. And this could be grief, worthiness, and something even in your mother or father's lines or even 10 generations ago. And a simple ritual that you can actually do is write a letter to yourself or to whoever you might have some sort of feeling towards. Maybe it's a parent, about really what you want to say to them, but don't send it. Please don't send it. Take that letter. This is actually this is used in psychology, writing letters, the 3 letters. But you can just write one and take a white candle and light a white candle, which is purity. So you're purifying your energy. And then say a prayer, affirmation, something like that after you've written the letter. And then take that letter and go burn it. Now, what you're doing is you're clearing that karmic cord, that energetic cord that you are no longer telling that story. You were done with that story. And I must say that this isn't something that's always going to happen super quick. It can, but if you need to do this ritual more than once, do it more than once. Really, the way to be able to tell if you're done with something is when something comes along, like say it's with a parent or something, and they do something that would have triggered you before and it doesn't trigger you anymore. That's when you know that the cord has been cut. That's when you know that you cleared the karma. So that's how you tell. Okay. That's often a question people ask is, well, how do I know when I'm done with this? Well, you'll just know because you won't be triggered by it anymore. Okay. And so there's also this union and home field, which is the honest partnerships, the clean leadership, shared values, not perfection, because you're already perfect, because remembering that you are always exactly where you need to be. So it's never about trying to be perfect because you're already perfect. Okay. If that makes sense. So truth and the repair capacity. Okay. So that would be that you're in your truth. You're repairing. And you're always exactly where you need to be. So you don't need to make yourself feel bad about where you are. It's accepting where you are. So, really about the pause again and how we can look into the 3D reality. And the 3D reality is the physical world. What are some things that could be showing up of that there's a pause in your fertility? Well, you're probably going to be able to guess some of these. We've got irregular cycles. Maybe your IVF cycles are not working. Maybe your logistics are just not, they're just not lining up like you'd like them to. And often the soul's syncing the clocks with your body, relationship, and livelihood. The universe is putting this there to get you to see that something is off. And I know when you're in it, it's so frustrating, but everything has a meaning, it has a message. Okay. So if you're experiencing irregular cycles, I'm going to go back to hormonal imbalance. There could be a lot of stress in your life. Maybe your boundaries are not great. Maybe it's learning to say no to things. Maybe you actually legitimately have things going on like PCOS. PCOS can create all kinds of irregular cycles and ovulation. Okay. IVF delays, that could be a bazillion things. It could be you're working with the wrong doctor. Maybe the doctor that you're working with or the clinic you're working with is you don't feel comfortable with them. I've seen that quite a few times. And I'm not knocking IVF clinics because I work with IVF all the time. And I love IVF. I'm saying that not everyone's created equal, especially in bedside manner. Some of these doctors actually gaslight people. I've seen a lot of stories of this. And making sure that you're with the right providers is really, really important. And just because it worked well for your friend or somebody that you know, or they have really great statistics, doesn't necessarily mean that energetically you're going to jive with them. So it's very important to pay attention to stuff like this because the universe is pushing you in a direction. Now, remembering universe, when I say that, I'm talking about your spirit baby too, that things are here to line up as if like you're making a cake. You have different ingredients or you're putting a puzzle together. You have different things that need to come together to create that picture. That's your baby. Okay. So it's using your discernment and intuition to be able to link up with what you need and not resist that. So listening to yourself, trusting yourself. And I got to say, that's one of the biggest things on this fertility journey is learning to trust yourself on any journey, any spiritual awakening is learning to trust yourself. Okay. So often these souls, they want the boundaries. This is the medicine for you. Like I just said, trusting yourself, boundaries, very important. And spirit leads and science supports. Oh my gosh, that is so powerful. Spirit leads and science supports. Okay. Spirit is always going to lead. Science is a tool. Remember, it's a tool. It's giving you the opportunity to support you in some way, but it doesn't know everything. Okay. Everything that a doctor has ever proven or a scientist has ever proven has started in the quantum field. Okay. It started as an energetic download, it started as a thought, and then they were able to prove it. But it started in spirit first, which spirit, quantum field is another way of saying spirit. Okay. So the alignment blueprint, I want you to think about this on a daily. Okay. 5% safer today rule. One micro shift that calms your body. Okay. I'm going to say Christ breath because I talk about Christ consciousness, which is very different than anything in religion. But you can just say breath if you want to, whatever you resonate with. And you can do this for 2 minutes. And as you're breathing in all the love. I really like people to hold the energy at the top of their crown chakra, hold that breath in for about 3 seconds. And then you breathe out for 5 to 6 seconds. And really, you're letting everything out as you're breathing out through your mouth. So you're breathing in through your nose, the love, hold it at the top for 3 seconds. And then as you're breathing out through the nose for 5 to 6 seconds. You're letting out all of the lack, the grief, the shame, the doubt, feeling like you're not enough, that you're separate from this incredible universe because you are always loved. And so that's really powerful to do that 2 minutes a day, as well as the heart and womb light connection And you can imagine a gold and white stream connecting your heart and your pelvis, which would be the sacral chakra, really giving that connection between just in the torso, really connecting with that, closing your eyes and connecting with it. And it's called the Bai Lao. And that's in Chinese medicine, the heart and the womb connection. And it can really help a lot of blood flow. When babies are in the womb, they hear your heart the entire time. And that's very soothing to them. So connecting with the heart energy to the womb before they actually show up, this is really powerful stuff. And also taking truth inventory. We want to ask ourselves what needs to be forgiven or finished. Think about that. What do I need to forgive or finish? What do I need to take truth inventory of before my baby comes into my experience? What do I need to focus on within myself first? As well as receiving practice, which can take as little as 60 seconds a day, and really let yourself be able to ask, delegate, and accept. And if someone gives you a compliment, for example, believe them. Believe them that they're telling you you're beautiful. If your partner's telling you that, if someone tries to do something nice for you, let them do it. This is receiving. Babies are receiving. And I find often that people have a hard time with the word deserving. And it's okay to deserve something. It's not that you're better than anyone else. And I often hear people say, well, why should I get that, but someone else might not? Because there's enough for everybody. Okay. And why should we put you in a position where you feel like you're not good enough to deserve what's meant for you because someone else doesn't have it? That's separation. You deserve it just as much as anyone else. So work on that. Work on that receiving practice of knowing that you deserve what it is that you desire. Okay. You desire a baby, you deserve it. And also talk about some quick myth busting. And I just talked about this a little bit, but if I were worthy, it would have happened. The truth is, timing is wisdom, not punishment. Alignment means perfection. No, the truth is, alignment equals honesty plus repair. This is only the mother's work. The truth is, both parents are frequency keepers of this baby coming into the experience. So, how do we integrate all of this? I want you to choose one micro shift. And if you have to pause this, don't forget to like this episode and save it for later and also share it. But if you have to pause this to pick which one you're going to focus on as a micro shift, please feel free to do that. I'm going to start with the body. So earlier, bedtime, sunlight, a nice protein breakfast, and your phone off by 9. I know that's a big one, huh? Phone off by 9. Also, ancestry. I want you to write 1 page of forgiveness. We already talked about that, as well as union to home. So I want you to think of one courageous, gentle conversation or boundary that you could have with someone about something that you are not interested in continuing to do that's crossing your boundaries. So I want you to remember that divine timing is so incredible in this, and your spirit baby knows exactly when the right time is to manifest into the physical reality. There's nothing that you're doing wrong. It's just having the awareness of where things need to change. But that's not that you're doing anything wrong. It's just sometimes we get so hyper focused on what we think is right, like focusing so much on your cycle and tracking or the perfect diet or that IVF is going to be the answer for it all. And then I'm not going to do anything else. I'm just going to focus on IVF. Or my mind body connection doesn't matter because my doctor told me that it doesn't. And these are just some examples that when we remain open and receptive to all the possibilities, that's when we really start to get the answers. So that's where, when I talk about change, that something needs to change, that's often what it is. So it's learning to open up that maybe it's not traditional way that you would think that you would get pregnant. I mean, if you're listening to this, you're most likely going through a fertility journey that is nothing like you thought it was ever going to be. Okay. But there are so many options out there. And this is why I created this podcast, because I am here to help you bring your baby into this world. And I'm also here helping the babies, the spirit babies, the unborn souls, because I understand, as someone that specializes in the subconscious mind and really the mind body connection, but also understanding the science side of things as well as a licensed health provider. So remember that if you are listening to this podcast, most likely you were led to it by your baby or your higher self, because people don't find this on accident. You're led to my content, as well as if you are someone that works with me one-on-one, you are led to me. All my clients are led to me in a very unique way. And it's through their babies. I truly believe that. I feel that. And I'm not meant to help everybody. I'm not meant to help all the souls come into this experience. It's only certain ones. And like I said, if you're listening to this, it's you. If today's episode resonated with you as an advanced soul and conscious conception creator, remember, the pause isn't punishment, it's preparation. Your role is coherence, a calmer body, an honest heart, and a clear home field. Hit that follow button, leave a quick 5-star review, and share with someone calling in their spirit baby. When you're ready for support, DM the word READY for the Fertility Reset program, and the links are all included in the show notes. And don't forget to join me and my guest on the next episode, talking about the holistic side of fertility, Chinese medicine, ancient fertile wisdom, and the heart and womb connection. You don't want to miss it. Until next time, regulate, receive, and stay in your fertile frequencies.